Lynchburg College and the word family go hand in hand. Perhaps no other trio emulates that more than the brothers Lombardo, Evan, John, and Eric. All three have played or are playing for men's lacrosse and say family is important, but not something necessarily mentioned out loud.
No one ever says family here. Like, it is just like actually done. It's not preached at all. It's practiced.
John's always said it like when I made the decision to come here and he was coming back to coach. It was like, yeah, I'm your coach, but it's always I'm your brother first, and then for 2 hours I'm your coach, and then we're back to not how things used to be probably, but
close enough.
Close.
I always coached them growing up in youth league and high school and things like that. Always in the backyard. Probably too much of me talking. They didn't really take it all in, and maybe didn't want to listen when they got a little older.
When your brother tells you what to do, you might brush it off. When your brother is your coach, that takes some adjusting.
Yeah, at the beginning it was definitely something I had a tough time with. He was actually really good about it. Like one-on-one, he didn't really care what I said very much to him. But in front, I understood that in front of the group, it's not John, it's coach, and that was a little bit harder at the beginning because of my temper. But other than that, it smoothed itself out.
I think it was one of the first fall ball practices, and the defenseman scored a goal, and he yelled at the defenseman like, hit him harder or slash him. Like, John, no, I want to score. Like, or no, I don't want to get slashed harder. So that was kind of a fun little moment, just to kind of realize that he's coaching the defense and I'm playing offense, and his job in practice is to try to make his defensemen stop the offensive guys from scoring.
Coaching your brothers isn't a cakewalk either, something only made more difficult by the differing personalities of Eric and Evan.
Eric hit on it before. He's got a temper, and we all have everyone has a temper, but Eric's is a little bit borderline to maybe the little crazy side. And Evan is a little bit more mellow, kind of go with the flow, and likes to make pottery in his spare time.
I was just going to say that, because whatever he did with me is probably not going to work with that.
In the fall of 2015, the Lombardo brothers graced the very field in which two have been a part of history, and one hopes to continue that tradition.
It was the first time that all three of us were on Shellenberger field together. Before I coached these guys, we were in the back of my pickup truck, going to the same tournaments, the same Monday night leagues, and all that cool stuff. And those are some of the coolest memories I have. To level up, I think, and all be standing on the same field that all the cliches you literally bleed on and put so much time and effort into. That was just so special to share the same field that Evan is just beginning that journey on. Eric has gone through some of that now, and obviously me before them, and that's really cool.
And I didn't realize it right at first, but kind of looking, like Eric was covering me and looking at the right side, John was over there, and I was like, oh, gotta beat Eric and then try to get John to slide and try to shoot over him or something. So that was a really cool moment. No, it did not happen.
When asked about maybe taking a run at little brother, that was never a thought, which stems from their childhood when John and Eric were at boarding school while Evan was back at home.
He didn't have the brothers there so when we go back, it wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to go home and beat up Evan. Like, it was like, let's go back and hang out with Ev. Like,
it turned into maybe beating up Evan after a
couple, it didn't start out like that. You go back to hang out, and then you get pissed off at each other, and then you beat them up.
Boys will be boys, as the cliche goes, and growing up, that was just a normal day on the field.
We were always on teams that were really good, and if we didn't win, very rarely were we always drove there in the same car. Very rarely were we ever driving home in the same car if we didn't win. So we were in the championship game, and it's overtime. And Evan we're playing against collegiate players and post-collegiate players, and Evan's in 7th grade, and he's like expecting to start out the overtime period. And I'm like, Evan, why don't you let one of the older guys, let Kevin or Eric take a run there. And he was like, okay, I'll go. And I was like, you'll go next. So we win in overtime, and he comes. I'm like back in my stuff
Don't
up.
say
We
what
just
he really
won.
said.
I'm not gonna say what he really said in 7th grade, but he comes flying over and like, spikes his helmet on the ground. He's like, "You said I was gonna play, blah blah blah. I didn't get to go in." And then he wound up and was like, "I'm going home with Joe. I'm not going in the car with you." So that kind of turned out to be another brawl,
That
but
was me.
all in good fun.
Like described our relationship perfectly. We were playing lacrosse, fighting, and laughing about it 5 minutes later.
No matter how different each brother is, they have and will always be bonded by two things: Lynchburg College and lacrosse.
The lacrosse program emulates part of the college. I've said this to recruits. There's bumper sticker schools, and then I call Lynchburg College like a build it yourself. You're gonna come here and you're gonna build yourself. And someone may say, "Oh, Lynchburg, where's that? Oh, it's a small school in Central Virginia." And then you're gonna come here and learn how to kick butt. And you're gonna stand on somebody's desk in an interview and be like, "Yeah, I went to Lynchburg College and this is what I did." And slide your resume across and be like, "That's just the beginning."
Compared to these guys, I'm not putting a whole lot into it right now, and this place is 100%. You get back what you put in. No, like nowhere else I've ever been.
Combined, they have 13 years of experience at Lynchburg, playing the sport they love, and each learning something valuable for life.
Coach says, figure it out. Like, this is the situation, this is what you're doing, this is what you're in, what are you gonna do about it? And that's something that mom and dad have taught, but again, it's mom and dad, so they're gonna try and help you. And maybe Coach Kadelka literally is like, cutting ties, go ahead. Like, let's see it, go ahead. And that's, it's frustrating. I get mad, but at the end you're like, man, all right, it worked.
You can always do more than what you're doing now. And I think that's something that this program really is taken and ran with.
There's too many things to pick one that I've learned, but all of them have been stored in my mind and then get released as I learn them through firsthand experience and go, "Oh my gosh, that's what my dad was talking about," or "Oh, I remember Coach talking to us about that. That is what he was talking about." It clicks. The light switch goes on.
Lynchburg College is about family, but don't expect to hear about it. Just watch. For LHSN, I'm Joe Hutzler.
But, so to start in the alumni game,
Oh, that's
that's your alarm.
That's your alarm.
That's good. That's
Sorry.
You better wake up. You should go turn it off.
Should I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should probably turn that off.
I think that's an awesome transformation that's happened. And then, as a player, should I keep going?
Nah,
No.
I don't know who turned them on. I didn't hear the door open.
Motion sensor.
No, they're just light switches on the outside.
Do you want to go ahead
of
on?
the door?
Do you want the lights or the person that turned the lights on?
Lights.